Welcome to the High-Tech Investments News Report for week 27. The news report covers some of the many investments projects High-Tech Investments is currently involved in so you can follow our progress. We hope you will enjoy this news feed and look forward to your comments and remarks.
Hi, Bo here and welcome back to this week's news report, where once again it is time to have a look behind the scenes from the past week on our investment platforms. We're going to have a look also at the crypto staking that we have in here to see how well that has been doing. And of course, we're going to have a look at all our EAs, all our robots in the past week. It looks like everything has been pulling in the same direction. Strangely enough, these are EAs from different developers. All these EAs have also different settings, and at the end of the day, it looked like all of them went into a drawdown last week. So we have seen this phenomenon before. So even though you have different developers, different EAs, different settings, they are all pulling in the same direction. Some are better at coping with it than others, and that is what we're going to have a look at, obviously, also today. On top of this, we have a new video out where we are going a bit closer now, putting the RSI PAMM account under the microscope. So we will explain a bit later on what this is all about also. So make sure you watch it to the end, because we also have news from Expert Forex. There is a new pruning method out for this particular EA here. A lot of things have changed. We're going to also talk to you about that so that you are fully updated at the end of this video. So let's get into it. Let's get started and let's see what has changed in the past week. We're going to start off with our usual suspect. So again, the Yieldnodes NFT is the one that we have gotten a few questions on, exactly how you're going to obtain that or how you're going to find it. And we have mentioned last week here that also if you have your own NFT, so if you have your own wallet, the account you should look at is the Polygon network in here. Token name is Yieldnodes NFTs. So that is the place to go and find it in your particular wallet here. And otherwise, you will be able to go and find it also on the Yieldnodes website. Again, here we have ours grayed out because we have, as you can see here, it's been claimed already. Otherwise, it should show up here in the Yieldnodes NFT. We would, of course, like to hear from you if you have actually received it through your platform in here and how that actually shows up. So if you're willing to share that, you can always send us an email and we will, of course, block out the important parts in here. We simply just want to have a look at how this is actually working and also hear back from you if you actually received your NFT on the platform. In the meantime, we're going to go through the SAP coin again here. There's not much development overall. As you can see, it's pretty much sideways all the way. So last week we left it at, as you can see, point and then 7 zeros. For this particular week here, it did go past the 0.7 zeros and then 5 and then back down again. So I would say that this is still trading pretty much sideways again, very low volumes at the moment. So no major changes overall. Major changes is not something either that actually comes out from our staking with the SAP coin at the moment. So the last ones we actually received was from the 22nd of June. Nothing has actually come in since. And yes, it has been working all the time. We are doing server updates, things like this, where one of these wallets is actually on. And it's normally working quite fine. But as I mentioned before, it is very erratic. It is very unstable when we are getting our staking and when not. The only thing that is actually stable is we're getting 280 SAP every single time we finally get our rewards. The same for the PNY. We do have one that just came in on the 1st of July, as you can see. And also it's the same number as usual, 133 PNY. So at least that particular coin has started off quite nicely and put the first marker in for July. Hopefully this will be one of many coming. And overall, we only got 0.7% for that particular week, which is obviously a bit low, but we take everything because it's a lot better still to put it in for staking than simply just sitting in your wallet and doing absolutely nothing. In the meantime, let's go and have a look at Bitcoin versus USDT. Bitcoin has been basically going downwards in a pretty straight line, at least for the first part of the week. And then the second part, it has been trading sideways. So basically at the end of last week here. So it did gain a bit again, up to about 58,000. And at the moment we're shooting this particular video here, it was trading about 55,680. So definitely a bit of a drop from where we were last week, around the 63,000 mark. When it comes to the Trillant news, there's not much news here either. Trillant social media. So again here, it says many of you have already noticed we have temporarily suspended our social media activities so as not to affect the ongoing audit. This is obviously the same text over and over again regarding this particular audit here, saying they are still here, and then the relevant messages will be answered. And then, however, they say please refrain from asking questions about the ongoing audit by the social media. So I guess that's why they have disabled this. And obviously this has been ongoing for such a long time here now, so it's going to be interesting if we're ever going to come out of that particular phase here. And in the meantime, let's go to coinstore.com with the Tree coin. Again here last week it was pretty flat. You can see the end of that particular one here, where we started off with 0.0001040, and then all of a sudden something happened here in the middle of the week. So we had a bit of a spike in the positive and the right direction, only actually to fall back on a slightly higher level again here with very low trading volatility overall. So 0.0001185. So again, nothing much and not very exciting to actually report back on for this particular week here. When it comes to the money tree, then the low risk account here did quite well with $113 or 3.3%. The medium risk account actually struck out on a trade, which you can see the high risk one did. It only did basically 2 trades, so it was one and the same currency pair, so you made out with $69 or 1.5%. But for some reason the medium one didn't actually pick up anything at all. So this is not normal from what we've seen, but maybe this was part of the very fast price movement that we saw a couple of times last week. You can obviously go and have a look at our website, where you will find both the normal one with all the currency settings in here, as we call them, the normal settings, and then the money tree, where we have optimized them again, only using some of the currency pairs. So that's why you'll see from time to time that even the normal section will outperform both the medium and the high risk one. But let's have a look at the high risk one. This is also the one that we battled with for a long time, similar as the medium risk one. We did make a mistake after we came back in positive up here on the lot sizing part. So this was not DEA, this was actually ours. After we have made the adjustments, you can see things are going quite well again. The balance, we started off with 5,000. So obviously we are still not back where we want to be. But this shows the journey. Sometimes you have to take with these particular EAs on what is working and what is not until you get it balanced out. History itself, we have 434 days, so quite a lot of history in here overall, which is good. That means that we are getting our heads wrapped around this particular EA. Obviously, the numbers are not looking so good, but if we have a look at the individual weeks, you can see that when we are not crashing it here, so this was the last time we lost about 2,000 in here. But since then, it's actually ticking over nicely on the high risk one a couple of times, 200 here, 140. And then in recent weeks, we have gotten, well, below at the moment. So only down to $69 in the past week. So it is not cashing in a lot. And definitely we don't want to turn it up even further, because this particular week here also saw a bit of a drawdown also on this particular EA, even though you can't really see it on the profit side. Trade Explorer also are doing okay, even though it's still on the low side at the moment. The 22 pair did $182 or 1.8%. 10 pair one was actually below the 22 pairs. So as we mentioned before, the 22 pairs, I did make a small adjustment, but it looks like it had a big impact, so that is good. 10 pair one did $151 or 1.5%, so that's good that it's pretty much balanced out here now between the two accounts. That's nice to see. And if we have a closer look at the individual numbers here again, the weekly returns 1.5, monthly returns 6.3. Don't forget, this is on a coupling service, so we cannot increase the lot size that you would normally do. We have to keep it the same. 420 days of history, and you can see down here the 180 $82 that we made, which is better than last week. But when you then compare to the previous weeks of 200 and 300s in here, then obviously we could have done a bit better overall. But again, 22 pair, it looks like it's actually cashing in better. And if you look back for May, June, and April here, not June maybe, but May, April, and March, you can see that 182 back then was pretty good. So you can see that the adjustments we made is definitely working out. 10 pair one also in here, doing quite well. Weekly returns 1.9, monthly returns 8.2. History same, 420 days. And when we look down here, we can see $151. Last week was also low, 130, but compared to the previous weeks of 200, 222, 320, 206, and a nice one here, 427, then obviously we are far from that particular goal here right now. And that again shows that all these EAs in the past weeks of Forex trading seems to have suffered a bit, and both of the pairs has also gone into a higher drawdown than what we have seen in past weeks. The Wave Liberator for week 27, the top 5 EAs in here, Euro, Great British Pounds did extremely well, $118 or 11.8%. Swiss francs Japanese, $62 or 6.2%. Euro CAD, $51, 5.1%. And then US Japanese, which a lot of people are scared of trading. You can see it's doing quite well with the Wave Liberator, $42 or 4.2%. New Zealand USD, $26 or 2.6% overall. If you would have traded those top 5 EAs in here on 5 $1,000 accounts, you would have made $299 or 6%. And that is very good results for those top 5 in a week that we just had here. If we have a closer look at the overall portfolio, again, the portfolio consists of 20 EAs, $10,000 accounts. So the balance started off with 200,000, and then equity at the moment is 211 because we have a drawdown of 7,590. So on that particular EA, that has also gone up. Normally you always have a bit of a trailing floating profit and loss. It has been somewhere around the 3,000 to 5,000 mark. And at the moment it came up to about 8,000. So when it was at its highest, but again, it's running. Total return 11%, monthly returns 1.3, and then weekly returns 0.3% in here. Again, this is because we are running each on $10,000 accounts. If you want to trade them on individual, similar to what we do on our PAMM accounts, it will be 13% and 3% weekly returns. So very good overall profits coming in. Trades per day here is 13 and trade win 68. So it's very, very stable overall with a history of 324 days. You can again go in and have a look. These are all the individual FX Blue accounts that we are basically giving you free of charge. You can go and have a look at all our trading in here. Click on them and you will see the individual currency pairs and how well they're doing, which ones you might want to engage in. You can see that are working out the best and which ones you want to avoid. If we're going to have a look at the individual numbers for that week, again, the numbers we have up here, we've gone through with the history of 324 days. Look at this graph. Yeah, looks very, very nice. And then again, very stable results at the moment. $386 was what we made here from the past week, and 394, 398, 397. So all of them seems to be extremely stable at the moment. There is, however, some of the accounts are in drawdown here, and has been for a bit of time, as the market hasn't basically bounced back from previous weeks in here. But let's see how that is working out. The good part is there's still a lot of cashing in going on. For the RSI Liberator, we have made some changes here recently, as we spoke about. It looks like a lot of them is cashing in quite well. US Canadian, $52 or 5.2% just for a week. So that's very nice. Swiss francs Japanese, also $50 or 5%, and Euro USD, another $50 or 5%, Aussie Swiss francs, $42 or 4.2%, Great British Pounds USD, $33 or 3.3%. And again, if you would have traded those top 5 in the past week on $1,000 accounts, you would have made $228 or 4.6%. So that is definitely also very, very good numbers. And also here we have the entire portfolio that you can see. Also that particular portfolio has actually gone up in drawdown for that particular week, even though we made some changes and even though we have most of the account as dual account here now, so they're both buying and selling at the same time. But it's still coming in with a floating profit and loss of just over 5,000. But again, it is running. Total return, obviously not much here at the moment, because even though we have 3 months, 93 days in here, that particular drawdown takes most of it away. But the monthly returns is about 1% and weekly returns is 0.2. Again, the way we trade it on the PAMM account, you would have about 10% or 2% on the weekly return. So again, have a look at that. Trade win factor is 65%, so that is also pretty good with about 20 trades per day. So definitely very active. And you can find a lot more details on our website also here, where we have 22 for this particular RSI. You can again click them and it'll take you into the FX Blue, where you can then go and have a look at some of the numbers that you have here. You can see the graph, also very nice. And if we have a look at the net profit overall, 469 was what that particular portfolio made. It's not as good as last week, but certainly compared to the previous week in here. But it is low, as you can see from the past couple of weeks. We have to go back here to end of May until we saw something that was actually lower. But we also have different setups back then. So let's hope it continues to move forward. Now, one of the things that I mentioned in the beginning here is we have released a new video, and this is basically where we put the PAMM account under the microscope. We try to explain to you a bit on the settings and how we get to the settings, what we are taking into consideration, and how we are actually testing the individual parts. So this has gotten quite a few views, so there's a big interest in how you actually do this. So that is great to see that people can actually use this to both improve their own trading, but also get an insight as to exactly what is happening on the PAMM trading accounts. And if you want to see more about all this, you can again go to our website, where you can find both the Wave Liberator, RSI Liberator, and you can also find in here the PAMM account that we're going to go and have a closer look at. So the first one we're going to have a look at is actually the Wave Liberator account. So as we take a look of the Wave Liberator PAMM account in here, we can see that FX Blue has calculated the weekly returns at 1.4, monthly returns 6.2, and then we have a history of 4 months in here, 132 days now. Now these particular numbers is not exactly correct, and that's also why we're using MQL5 to show you this overall. But have a look at the profits that we had. In the past week, it was very low, so 1,790. We have actually dialed down the EAs here at the moment because of the way the Forex market is operating. We did that already last week when we went down to about 3,000 in here. We will obviously assess it on day by day, week by week basis, and then turn it back up again. So we just want to make sure that we are making a good profit without risking too much at the end of the day. And the way we look at this here, again, from the MQL5, we can see the overall growth and balance. It is going definitely in the right direction. So for the month of June, for that particular account, we did about 6.5. And right now we're only up about 0.5%, which is obviously not where we want to be. But again, safety is all, and that's how we are operating at the moment. There will definitely be better times here coming in. We just have to, again, look at the Forex market and then try to adapt to it. We also see here from the RSI Liberator that is also doing quite well. You can see the development here also with the withdrawal that was done here and not basically a loss. In here it says weekly returns 1.3%, monthly returns 5.6%. Again, it's not really the case. When we see these withdrawal phases also in here, it also takes into account the net profits. And that's also why this one here is a bit low, 1,339. You can see that we have to go all the way back here to end of May, early June to find some similar results. But it has also gone in here in a slightly higher drawdown. So obviously we're expecting things to again retrace, and obviously we will get back to some very, very nice numbers overall. You can see that already this particular account has also cashed in 1.66% according to MQL5 in here. So that is a bit more straightforward. You can also see the line that we are getting with the profits. It looks pretty stable overall. And obviously, as the market settles down and goes into maybe a bit more of a sideways movement instead of these heavy trends, then we can turn up some of the EAs again. In the meantime, let's have a look at the Lucky Trader, the first results. Now, we did this video here now a couple of weeks ago, and this is the new EA trader, so from Expert Forex. Some of the results are already in, and also we have now added that part to our website where you can go and have a look exactly on how this EA works. We have some info and details in there, and if you then click that particular part here, you will get to that website. Well, you'll find both the Lucky Trader portfolio overview that we're going to show you here today. So if you want to have a look at the overall one portfolio, then this is the one. And then you can see each individual ones of the currency pairs here. That's also where to go. And you even have an Expert Forex link that will take you back also to the website if you want to know more about this EA. At the moment, this is for free. It's part of the testing program that Expert Forex has, and it should be running until the 20th of July in this particular month so far. So the numbers that we have, and we have ADAs on $10,000 accounts, it was doing quite well, so the balance has gone up. But look at the equity. Floating profit is now 2,600 in minus, and that's, as I said also in the beginning, this is a new A. Again, also this one has run into a bit of a drawdown, so even though this has a different trading logic overall, funny enough to see, but still trade wins are 70%, so very, very high. We have the history now of about 20 days in here. Trades per day, as you can see, it's very active, 27 days. And you can see the currency pairs over here, how well it has been doing. If you have a closer look at it, the weekly returns is calculated 1.4%, monthly returns 6%. That has actually been stable from the beginning. We haven't optimized it, meaning we are using 0.1 in lot size as we've been asked by the developer to do. Some of them can definitely do a lot more. So if we have a look at first the daily ones over here on the right hand side, we can see that it's been cashing in every single day quite nicely, except for the 4th of July in here. We actually had one of the pruning functions in here where we have the first and last, and it did that a few times, and then that's why it ended up overall with this particular EA in a minus. Otherwise, it's cashing in pretty well every single day, and the weekly results are also here, 353, 1546. So last week was a very good week, then or the previous week, and then last week was down also here, 889. So again, also this particular EA was suffering from last week's trading syndrome in here. Now the good news, as I mentioned before, about the first and last part that we lost a bit of money on with the Lucky Trader, as you could see here on that particular day. Well, Expert Forex has now come out with a new pruning method for the Lucky Trader in here that we are now testing. So it is running on the live accounts that I showed you earlier on. And instead of having the normal pruning where you had the balance pruning and you had the first and last, now they have been replaced by a new one. Technically, we still haven't heard exactly how this operates, but in this particular week here, we expect obviously to see this one in action. And then when we start seeing exactly how this runs, hopefully we'll be able to tell you a bit more about it. From what we understand is that this should be a more sure way of making sure that when we are pruning, we are also getting a bit of money in every single time. So there shouldn't be any losses going forward when you're using that particular pruning method. And this is what we had for you in this week's news report. As you can see, there is plenty of data, there is plenty of updates, and still there is plenty of profits despite some of the drawdowns that all of the EAs are in at the moment. As we said in the beginning, some are coping better with it than others, but overall they are still going strong. No accounts has been blown as usual. That is very, of course, important to us. And it is just interesting to see how the Forex market can actually pull different developer EAs in the same direction overall. So I hope I have given you a bit of insights as to what we have been doing the past week, and hopefully I'll see you on one of my other videos. Until then, bye.
I hope you enjoyed our news report. So please don't forget to like and add your comment below, as we would love to get your feedback. But before you go, make sure you subscribe to the channel and don't forget to keep the notification bell turned on. That way, you will never miss any of our future videos. We hope to see you back on this channel very soon.